Live from Los Angeles. It's time to get inside the Gamers Dome with your host, Scott Gerhardt. Bringing you all of today's gaming news and information all in one place. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Welcome to the Gamers Dome.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 19 of the Gamers Dome. I am your host, Scott Gerhardt, and I have my co-host, Miss Amber Mitchell, as always.
Hello.
So there's been a lot going on here.
Kind of crazy day.
Yeah, no joke. So I guess Microsoft did something today.
Yeah, just a little event.
A tiny little thing.
Yeah. Oh, poor Pat wants to talk about it so bad.
Pat, you want to be on this episode?
We could totally get him to come.
Pat, you totally wish you were on this episode? Pat, you're not on Skype. Get on Skype.
Get on Skype. So
we're totally gonna bring Pat on because Pat is in the chat. He's already like, I want to talk on this one.
I know he's been waiting all day.
Yeah, I know.
About it.
Yeah, I know. He has.
Oh, he can't.
Oh.
Well, the thing that we are kind of freaking out about is Xbox One finally announced and gave us a little peek.
I have learned a very valuable lesson. Don't listen to rumors, says the guy who last week was reporting about the new Xbox Infinity.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Right. We went from trying to figure out what number it was, and then
we went from infinite to one.
Yeah, one. One spelled out.
Ooh, no.
The word one. Anyways, yeah. You and I are on completely opposite ends of how we're viewing this.
It would appear so.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you go and say all of the things that your expectations or, what you were excited or disappointed with, and then I will rant afterwards if that's okay. I'm taking the rant.
Oh, you're taking the rant.
Yeah, I'm taking the rant because I already know where you stand on this.
I like it.
Yep.
I am a fan. Now, I need to clarify my stance on being a fan, though. I am not a hardcore console gamer. I do like console gaming, but it is not my hugest area in gaming. That said, I am a major gadget dork.
So you're more excited about that, like we were saying earlier, it was like the media control aspect of this.
I do. I like the fact that this will revolutionize everything you do sitting in front of your television. And it's not just gaming, because I do a lot in front of my television. And I mean, some of the simple things like not having to change inputs and being able to seamlessly switch between your Xbox and your live TV and being able to do it with your voice. Xbox on. Watch TV, CBS, and boom, I'm watching Price is Right. It's on.
Yeah, I mean, I've been like my friend Paul has it set up right now where he can do the voice commands to control it, and that was fun to play around with because I could play the next episode that I was watching on Netflix or whatever just by vocal commands. I liked that a lot. But the live TV thing is a good addition. I think a lot of people don't realize right now that there is the capability to do these things without the live TV, but with what they already have. The capability is already there. So it's not necessarily a new feature. The live TV part is.
Yeah, and again, for me, yes, a lot of this stuff does already exist. I like the fact that they're really enhancing the Kinect so that it works better than it currently does. I do. I like the live TV. I like the fact that
it's gonna watch you in your sleep.
Yes. The Xbox shall be watched. No, I really do like it as a media center, and I personally think from a game console perspective that it's not bad. Now, I'm going to address the point that everyone out there is griping about, and that's the used games.
It's huge. It is a huge... I mean, this is kind of what brought EA to a bad place, is when they started being aggressively against the whole secondhand game issue. And I think that Microsoft is...
They're not, and I'll tell you why. Here's the thing. Consumers in general are still going to pay the same markup that they already pay. Like, if a game is $50 and a consumer is willing to pay $40 for it used rather than buying it new, they're still going to be willing to pay $40, and that's still going to be what the market bears. Now, let's say Microsoft is like, we want $5. We want $5 if you want to do this. Well, now, are you going to buy that game for $40 in the store? No, because they're not going to be able to sell it, because now the overall cost is $45, and GameStop or any other place isn't going to be able to get that. They're going to be like, for $5 more, I get it new. So
right.
That's what they currently operate on, is there's that margin that with which people are willing to buy it used, and that margin, they're already pushing that margin as hard as it goes. I mean, you can't push it any harder than a lot of these places already do. If Microsoft takes a piece, all that's going to happen is GameStop. If Microsoft wants $5, GameStop's going to have to sell it for $5 less. They're going to be the ones that actually lose out in this, not the consumer, because the consumer, as I'm sure you're going to point out, won't tolerate it.
And Pat is saying exactly what I was going to say, is that they're not asking for $5. They're saying, no, if you're buying this, you want to pay it, you pay the full retail price. So it's not a used pricing index. There's no like trade-in discount or anything. You have to buy the game no matter what. And even if, like, say you have two profiles and another profile wants to play that game on your Xbox, they're going to have to pay for the game again, instead of like, well, we have this disc in the house. It's such a terrible setup that hasn't been like, I think they haven't addressed a lot of the things that a lot of people are worried about, and this is something that is going to be huge for. I mean, gamers already, they have to pay their Xbox purchasing, like, just like for hardware. Then you have a live subscription. The games themselves are between $40 to $60 or higher. This is a very pricey scale that they're on already, not to mention that this is coming out at such a high cost, and then you're going to add up all those other things. I don't know. I don't think most gamers out there can afford this kind of lifestyle, and I think it's going to hurt their sales in the long run.
I'm not buying this. I don't think so. I mean, I'm kind of reading while you're talking the article that Pat just posted.
Mm-hmm. It's from what they have announced, what they have shown, they're not addressing some very key details that your average gamer is going to be in the situation of. So it's not. They didn't do a very good launch to. If they're going to change things that massively, they didn't address those things in their launch, and I think that was.
Well, I mean,
not a good way to start.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to be shocked if it actually works this way, but I kind of can understand a little bit where they're going with this point, because everything appears... Hi, Monster!
Wow, I have dogs.
Everything appears to be cloud-based at this point, so once you put a disc in, that's it. Like, your game's in the cloud. You don't necessarily even have to have that disc anymore. Heck, I'm not even sure whether or not there's going to be a lot of discs. I think people like GameStop are trying to maintain that there's discs. So I'm kind of understanding this a little bit. It's almost more like the Steam type thing.
Right.
Where you buy a game and it's linked to your account. And you can't just go in, and the disc is almost like the disc is almost worthless. Now,
we had this conversation about EA's DRM.
Yeah.
And now look what they're doing. They're going away from that.
I think there may be a way. They're going to figure something out. They're going to figure out some way so that if you want to trade in a game, you can do it, but you're going to have to deactivate the game from your account. That's what they're trying to prevent, is one disc giving 100 people the game. So, yeah, you're right. This is, if people have to pull full retail, GameStop's not going to tolerate this. I mean, like, GameStop's going to step up, and other people are going to step up and be like, if you do this, we're not going to support you, period. And it's going to be a major hit to Microsoft. They're going to work out something so that there's a way of deactivating a code.
No, I have no doubt that they're going to tweak the way it is before release, just because of what I've seen on the feedback and knowing gamers that are competitive or do it, as a living and everything, and hearing their views on what they've seen so far. And again, we all have to say this as we don't know what is going to be the end product yet. So right now we're still, even though, this was supposed to be their reveal, they haven't revealed everything. So there's only so much we can speculate on. What they have shown, though, is awesome for the media management side of it, but for the video gamers, not so awesome. I mean, we have some titles announced, which is good. Sony didn't do that. They just said, this is what our hardware is going to be, and they didn't really give us any titles, whereas Microsoft is giving us titles. So we already, even if some of them are kind of, like, I don't know about that Quantum one, it looks a little bit iffy. That was probably one of the worst gaming trailers I've ever seen before, because really no idea what the game is about, how the gameplay is, anything about it. It was just random videos. It was a very WTF trailer. I don't know what to say about that Quantum.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called. It looks terrible. But they're titles, and that's what Sony didn't do when they started. When they did their reveal, they just said, look, this is the hardware we're giving you. And that was it. So in a way, I think Microsoft went about this in a better route by giving us real titles that we can look at, and like the Call of Duty, which I am loving that they have the whole dog thing, and the dog on Call of Duty has its own Twitter account now, and it's cracking me up. But I'm going to play that.
Yeah.
Probably not on my own Xbox. I'll probably go play it on a friend's Xbox, because I don't think I'll be able to afford this Xbox.
So tell me, what else besides the used game thing upsets you about this Xbox?
Honestly, it's the price is really high for the upgrades that they're offering. It doesn't seem worth it.
Do you have info I have or I don't have, because I've not seen the price?
We had what was, maybe this was speculation was between $500 and $600 from what I've seen on the people in the industry. on their Facebook. So again, like I said, it's not for sure, and it's probably around the same price that PS4 is going to drop. And unfortunately, but the hardware upgrade isn't as matching as much as the upgrade for the PS4 is going to be. However, it doesn't offer. How can I frame this in the way that I'm trying to say without sounding like a jerk? It doesn't look like it's worth the money. That's what it is.
See,
and because it's not backwards compatible, you can't play old games on it.
Wait, what's not? The Xbox?
The Xbox will not be backwards compatible. No.
I thought I read that it was.
Nope. I don't believe PS4 is going to be either.
I don't know about PS4, but I'm almost sure I read that the Xbox One would be backwards compatible.
Nope.
Anyone want to confirm or deny that in the chat? No,
Yes.
not backwards compatible.
Yeah, so you're paying. So I mean, you're still going to have to keep your 360 to play, and a lot of people are going to say, well, I don't care. I'm only playing new games anyways. That's fine. I have a whole bookshelf of games that I like to go back. I still go back and play Katamari. Excuse me, on the Wii, just because I love that game, and that's a 6-7-year-old game. It's really annoying that if you want to upgrade the system, you're still going to have to keep your old system in tandem.
That's ridiculous. You know what? If they can do all this crap, why the hell can't they figure out how to make games backwards compatible? I mean,
it's not even going to be Blu-ray. That's the thing.
Wait, what's not going to be Blu-ray?
Wait.
Yes.
Is it?
It is Blu-ray. That I know.
Was I confused? Okay. That's right. Okay. It is Blu-ray. Okay, it's Blu-ray, but yeah, not being able to be backwards compatible doesn't make up for that.
Well, I'm wondering if they can find a way in the new system. I mean, with technology doing what it is, some way of, because everything's cloud-based anyway, so if all the new games are cloud-based, surely they could put the 360 games cloud-based, so you just need some way of activating them.
You would think that, but have you ever tried to play an old Sims game on the Orbit, what is God, on their Origin? I don't know why I was trying to call it Orbit. On EA's Origin thing, if you try and play an old Sims game, like, I have come across so many issues just trying to install it because of their clunky manager, that, like, this is my fear, is that it's kind of Microsoft didn't want to put up with that, and so that's why they're saying no backwards compatibility. We're just not even going to deal with deal with old titles, and that sucks for people who like games and get, like, addicted to franchises and want to, like, relive stories. You're going to have to keep your 360 in tandem with the Xbox One.
You know what, we'll see. I think Xbox did a very smart thing here. They announced the system just a little bit ahead of E3. They're going to listen to the public. They're going to figure out some stuff, and they're going to regroup, and they're going to modify, clarify, adjust things at E3. I totally think that was their entire goal with the launch, with where it is, was to do it in advance of E3, enough time to get market feedback.
Right. And I'm looking forward to E3 to be able to actually have my hands on that controller, because it's like a go back in time original Xbox controller where it felt ridiculously out of proportion to your hands, huge. It looks like they just went back to the original design, so I cannot wait to actually put my hands on that controller at E3 and feel it and make sure, like, because they're saying they did all these tests with it.
Are you going to E3?
That's the plan.
How are you getting in?
I have ways. Shoot, son, I've been in the industry for years.
Well, if I can't get in through normal channels, you need to get me in through your channels.
I will do my best to try.
I have actually already applied for media credentials to E3, so we'll have to see if they want to let me in.
Yeah, you'll probably get it.
Yeah, I'm hoping. We've been all over the Xbox here.
It's been a day-long conversation for me.
It really has been. It's been for me too. But we're burning through a lot of show here. I'd love to keep on this. I'm sure we're going to keep talking about it more next week because there's going to be a week's worth of analysis now, and there'll be more stuff. So we'll pick this one up again next week. And I have just a few stories I want to hit first. The first one being about, speaking of online, and
Yes.
EA dropping the online passes from its future games.
Which, okay, that doesn't really make too big a difference for current gamers. It's like, I don't know. That didn't really bother me as much as the other stuff that they were doing.
Yeah.
It is progress, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is the right direction to go in. Though, speaking of companies trying to get more revenue, Nintendo is actually claiming ad revenue for user-created YouTube videos.
So they basically are going to be on YouTube's ass saying, if you have somebody doing a Let's Play or a video featuring our game content, it has to be sandwiched with our advertising, and then they get advertising for that.
Yep.
And that's like, I'm sorry, but if they can do that, then we can have Fruit of the Loom saying, I demand ad rights because she's wearing a Fruit of the Loom shirt. Sony or Samsung, whoever is appliances in the back of my video is going to want to have
I understand
their branding. I don't like the way it's going. And as somebody who does video game broadcasting, this is just Nintendo wanting advertising on top of something that is basically already advertising.
I get your slippery slope argument, though I don't agree with it.
I don't think it's going to get that out of control.
It is different. I understand. I mean, I have a business background. I understand Nintendo's claim here, and it certainly is within their rights to do what they're doing. I mean, within the YouTube terms of service, they absolutely can do. Now, the question is, just because you can do something, should you?
Right, and it has, it's not that they can't do it. It's a stupid move for them because nobody is going to want to show their games.
Yep, it's going to. I mean,
that's a huge part of the market right now. Now is coming from people who are seeing the games being played.
Yeah, YouTube videos of Nintendo games benefit Nintendo because people want to go out and buy the games. Then, if you steal these people's ad revenue, now people won't want to buy the game.
No, they're going to say, you know what, I'll just do a PC version of this game or a different game altogether because that's just shooting advertisers in the foot is what they're doing. Yeah,
so, I mean, again, they can do it. I don't think they should. I think we're in agree. We agree on that one.
Yeah.
Let's get to something. Actually, let's stay on Nintendo. Let's stay on Nintendo here. Sonic the Hedgehog signs a exclusive deal with Nintendo. All the Sonic games right now are all Nintendo. Yeah. If you had told me that this would ever happen, no freaking way would have been my response.
Really? Why? Why would you not have expected that from Sonic?
Well, I'm an old school console gamer, and I just remember. I mean, I remember back in the days of the Super Nintendo versus the Sega Genesis, and it was just the idea of Sonic being on Nintendo. It was just foreign. It was just crazy. So I guess because of my background in it, the idea, it's almost like he's coming to work for the enemy.
Yeah, no, I can see that going back from the old school, but there is no more Sega, so
yeah, I know. This
is Sonic's platform.
And I agree. I mean, of the three platforms, it certainly makes the most sense for them to go Nintendo. It just is weird. That's just it's just weird.
It hits you in your old school feels.
It does. So our last story, I want to end on I don't know if this is feel good.
It's weird. I think it's weird.
Angry Birds. Angry Birds movie. Sony has gotten the rights for the Angry Birds movie.
How can you make a movie about Angry Birds? I don't understand this.
They're going to figure it out.
This hurts my head.
It's a 3D film. It's going to be developed, produced, and financed by Rovio Entertainment. Released by Sony Pictures on July 1st, 2016. So
I want to know who's going to star in it.
Obviously, summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
Well, no. I mean, that's the thing. Honestly, it's such a huge title right now that, I mean, there was a lot of competition. So Sony probably paid a few dollars to have the rights on this one.
Well,
but
they definitely paid money for it, but is it going to be worth it is the real question.
Ha.
I don't know. How many video game based movies have really been a hit if they go that way? Like
not many.
Yeah. Like Battleship was probably the largest title and that was a flop.
Yeah. Okay.
It's gonna be the backwards. It's always a backwards way.
We're going to go ahead here and we're going to move on. When we come back, we are going to have an interview with the one of the guys behind the Hex TCG, lead developer Dan Clark is going to be with us next. You are listening to the Gamers Dome on the Drawing Board Radio Network. So my PS3 recently crashed, and I thought it was dead. I didn't want to buy a new one. Then I found out about Fusion Electronics over in Huntington Park. In just over an hour, they had it working perfectly again. I can't thank those guys enough. Don't trash your old system when it breaks. Take it to my friends over at Fusion Electronics. Free estimates, 90-day warranty on all their work, and if they can't fix it, there's no charge. Any modern gaming systems, iPhones, and more. Call them today at 323-972-3376 or email them at fusionrepairs@gmail.com. Again, 323-972-3376 or fusion with the Z repairs@gmail.com. You need it fixed, they've got you covered.
Attention techno fans, you're listening to Electro Motion by Studiotronics, just one of the many exciting tracks from their album Straight from the Source. Stimulate your brain and get your body moving to these high energy cuts. Also, check out their newest single available for download, Electro. Don't just sit there, get your fix for Studiotronics, now available on iTunes, Amazon.com, and CDBaby.com. Are you looking for Magic the Gathering singles? Shuffle and Cut Games' friendly staff has provided gamers one of the internet's biggest selections of singles since 2000. And if you have extra cards you don't need anymore, Shuffle and Cut Games has one of the most extensive buy lists around, paying top dollar for your unwanted cards. If you live near our La Habra, California location, come down and play in our weekly Friday night Magic tournaments. For more info, visit shuffleandcut.com. That's shuffleandcut.com. Shuffle and Cut Games, your source for Magic the Gathering.
Welcome everyone back to the Gamers Dome. So,
hello.
At this time, I'd like to introduce our guest. He is the lead developer for the game Hex that we introduced last week. This game so far has been blowing everyone away in the gaming industry. They have earned or picked up over $1.1 million so far on the Kickstarter, and I'd like to see that number go a lot higher because the more money they get, the better product they're going to put out, and this thing looks amazing. We have the lead developer, Dan Clark, with us. Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Scott. Hey, Amber. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on. I've been just completely blown away by every aspect of this game so far. It's like every time I watch a video or see anything new, I just nerd out even more. So,
Well, good. That's the effect we wanted to have.
okay. So I want to ask you, I mean, obviously we had Corey on last week to discuss stuff. And real quick, before we get into the questions, for anyone who's listening, if you guys have questions or have comments or anything, feel free to find us on Facebook or Twitter at The Gamers Dome. Certainly subscribe to us there. There's lots of reasons to do so, which I'm not going to go into.
And if you're on the radio chat, you can ask us live and we will see it.
Yes, we do this live every Tuesday at 7 if you're listening to this on podcast, thegamersdome.com. Dan,
Yes.
a good half dozen or so TCGs use, and probably more, use very similar game engines and game mechanics because, I mean, really there's no need to reinvent the wheel here. What about the TCG side of Hex actually makes it unique?
Well, the thing that we're really setting ourselves apart for from other TCGs is the digital aspect that we're really getting into. There's a lot of things that regular traditional TCGs that are on tabletops just can't really do what we're going to be able to accomplish with a digital game.
So yeah, I was going to ask you what kind of actual fun things were you able to do with a game that was developed purely on a digital platform?
Well, a lot of the cool space that we get to pick up is things that are very difficult to track in a regular game. So stats being modified and being able to permanently enhance those so that no matter where the card goes, you can still track what's going on with the card. So if you give a troop, a couple extra attack and it dies, you can bring it back and it'll still have that attack. There's a lot of that space going on. We have cards that can shuffle back into the deck and be altered as the card is played. And one of the cooler things that we have going on is that you actually get to kind of create your own card with the socketing mechanic that we have going on that'll be in the first set, where you get to really build your own card in the deck builder and figure out what your deck is looking for and then have a lot of different options to choose from in order to create the card that you want.
Yeah, that was certainly one of the things I thought was crazy about that. Just taking a card and being able to permanently modify it with, which I guess will actually lead me to my next question here. When you're designing a game where the cards can actually have permanent modifiers, do you end up putting more emphasis on a design standpoint on limited or constructed play, and what can you do to actually balance out the other one?
Well, we really do want to be making sure that we're taking care of both. For your question, when a card is permanently modified, it still exists inside of that game. When you leave the game, the card will no longer be permanently modified. So it's not like the card is going from game to game and constantly getting better. It still resets at the start of each game. Okay. But we wanted to make sure that both limited and constructed were going to be very interesting formats. A lot of things going on. There's a lot of handholds and tribal aspects going on in the limited format. And then when you move into constructed, it's wide open, a lot of different decks to play. We have 4 featured races that's going to be going on in the first set, and all of those are going to be strong constructed decks. But we really have to just make sure that we're balancing both, and it can be difficult, but I think we got it done, so I'm excited to see how it goes.
As a guy who loves him a draft, I cannot wait to play this. Actually, I can't wait to play some bunnies too. So obviously we've got there's some PvE and PvP aspects which are cool. So does the game work? I mean, I'm an old school WoW player. I've certainly done my share of like arenas and battlegrounds there. Does this game work in like an arena type format, maybe like a 2v2, 3v3, 5v5, or even more?
Initially starting off, we're going to be focusing more on the 1v1, but as we go forward and we get to develop more and more things that can work in that area, we'll definitely be moving into that more and have different tournaments and different formats that will accommodate that. And we will also have raiding experiences where you do get to play with your friends versus the AI to take down a raid boss and work together with your friends to build different decks that work together in new ways.
Yeah, I was going to ask you on this one. You guys over there at Cryptozoic have a lot of experience with creating a fantastic many versus one, if you will, experience with the World of Warcraft raid decks. Did that experience lend itself to you guys when you were designing things like dungeons and bosses in this game?
Yeah, it definitely played a pretty important role in being able to skip the step of needing to learn what's the best experiences that we need to be executing, because we already have experience from the raid decks. And so we have Drew Walker that's in the R&D team, and he's done a lot of the raid decks, so he was able to provide a lot of experience as to what's the best things to really have players be experiencing during the raids. And Chris Woods is also our lead engineer who designed a lot of the raids too, and they put a lot of work into that and tried a lot of the old WoW decks out and just went back and forth with this experience and feedback and just try to create the best experience for the raids moving forward in Hex.
Yeah, it was. I'm interested to see, because I know I played a few of the raid decks, and the power level gets interesting. It gets obscene sometimes, and the idea of being able to do this in an MMO world actually. Like it's almost Inceptionist. Yeah, the TCG within the MMO within the TCG. So I can't wait to see it. So one of the on the back on PvP a little bit here. One of the sometimes fun and sometimes frustrating things about MMOs is world PvP. You've got that rogue that comes up from behind you and just kills you out of nowhere because you were AFK or you weren't paying attention or they were just better gear than you. Is this the type of thing that could happen in the Hex MMO? And if so, how?
No, this is something that just really can't happen in our game. We have a lot of different features going on when we release Hex. And it's going to have many different modes for all different types of players, and you can really tailor your experience to be exactly what it is that you're going to enjoy. So there's going to be a lot of the PvE experience where you get to just go do your own thing. You can test your own deck, you can collect cards, you can go to PvP, you can do drafts. And so when you go into the PvP, you pretty much understand what it is you're kind of getting into. And so you just enter a match and you know that you're in a fight. So there's no all of a sudden I just got backstabbed and now I'm dead.
Yeah, well, as a guy who plays WoW on a PvP server, I'm really actually happy that it's not going to be in the game personally.
Yep.
So I have one last question for you here.
Sure.
If you had to choose just one aspect of Hex, and it can be anything that you are personally most proud of, what would it be?
There's a lot of things to choose from in here.
Okay, two or three.
I think probably the height of what I would be proud of when this game comes out is probably going to be the draft. We put a lot of effort into that and put a lot of work into tweaking it and figuring out every single card really fits into the puzzle, and you just gotta knock it out of the park. And so there's a lot of stuff going on there, and it's difficult to get into the right place, but I think we've got there. It's very fun. The drafting experience can change every single time, but at the same time, you still have the same feel of learning each time you go in, and you get to come out feeling like you have a better understanding of what's going on and getting better and better each time you do it. So I think for what I've worked on, I think the draft is probably going to have to stand out. I have a few designs in the first set that I'm not sure if they've been spoiled, so I can't get into them too much, but that would probably be a secondary. I'm glad to see some of my card designs made it in.
Nice. So are you going to happen to be at the game night tomorrow? I'm hoping.
Of course.
Oh,
yes.
Then I will be meeting you there then.
Wonderful. Then we can meet in person.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Dan, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for giving our listeners a little more insight into the minds behind Hex.
Of course. Thank you very much for having me on.
Absolutely. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
All right.
Okay.
Yep. Goodbye,
Bye.
Scott. Bye, Amber.
Bye.
Sorry about that, Amber.
No, it's fine. That's your world, and I have absolutely my input on that is not going to be nearly as high as yours. So I go on cruise control.
Fair enough.
You do that.
Fair enough. No, the guys at Cryptozoic have graciously invited me to a one of their game nights tomorrow night down in Irvine. So I am really looking forward to being able to see this more firsthand, and hopefully by next week's show, I will have more to report. And who knows? I don't know what I can actually shoot as far as video, but I'd like to be able to put up a video a little bit about it. So certainly be checking out our YouTube channel. And I want to actually take a moment here real fast to mention a sponsor, which I hadn't mentioned yet. The guys at Loot Crate, lootcrate.com, have been sending me their monthly box, and we do a video every month. We started last month, and there'll be another one going up tomorrow of all the cool stuff that's in it. And if you're not sure what a Loot Crate is, certainly check them out. Check out the videos. It's $13.37, even cheaper if you.
Elite.
Yep, it is elite. Even cheaper if you use the promo code DOME. Especially, and if you check out the videos, there's a link you can go through to get that 10%. So tomorrow you'll see a link to everything that is in this month's box, which is Equip. Now I know what's in it, but I'm not going to spoil it already because
you can't.
I've already shot the video for it, and let me tell you, you are going to want this because it's awesome. And every month it's awesome. So big shout out to the Loot Crate guys here. Certainly check out the YouTube video for that. It'll be going up tomorrow. So go technology.
You're super excited about you're just like gonna be on a high this week. I know it.
I really am. I can't even tell you how much I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Seriously, I'm geeking out already. Just talking to Dan was geeking me out. Just everything. I'm psyched. Okay, when we come back, we're going to go ahead and do our Kickstarters of the week, and we are going to talk about what we've been playing this last week. You are listening to the Gamers Dome on the Drawing Board Radio Network. Do you need professional, reliable dog walkers, house sitters, or cageless in-home boarding? Check out my friends over at Leash and Lodge. They use GPS tracking for their walks, so you know they're always showing up when they say they do. With a 5-star Yelp average, they're the only guys you need to know. When you sign up, mention promo code DOME to get $15 off your first invoice. Check them out now at leashandlodge.com. That's leash, A-N-D, lodge.com. Leash and Lodge, because the better way is finally here.
Do you have a bookshelf full of comic books right next to the one full of video games? Are you a Whovian? A Trekkie? Do you aim to misbehave? Are you friends with Leonard and Sheldon? Do you tabletop with Will? If you answered yes to any of these, I have a new podcast for you. Digital Nerdage, the nerd culture podcast, visits everything in the world of nerd. Check it out at www.digitalnerdage.com.
Attention Magic the Gathering players. 10 Packs is a strategy guide aimed at teaching beginner and intermediate players how to approach the Gatecrash booster draft format through the eyes of 4 of the world's greatest players. They include Pro Tour champion Luis Scott Vargas, Pro Tour top 8er Melissa De Tora, Magic Hall of Famer Raphael Levy, and Pro Tour Gatecrash champion Tom Martell. Each pro examines 10 packs of Gatecrash as if they were the first packs opened in a high-level competition. They weigh the merits of each card, giving explanations as to why they pick a particular card over over the others. They detail various draft archetypes in the set, and in many cases, discuss the general draft strategies underlying their respective decisions. In Part 1, each author examines the same 5 packs, giving the reader their in-depth analysis of each pack. In Part 2, the authors each examine 5 unique packs on their own, giving the reader a grand total of 25 Gatecrash booster packs reviewed. Their professional insights will give you the knowledge you need to elevate your drafting abilities to the next level. 10 packs is only $7.99 and available now in the Amazon bookstore. Just search the store for 10 packs and check it out now.
Welcome everyone back to the Gamers Dome.
Yeah.
I tried to unpsych myself down a little bit over that commercial. Yeah, I'm still kind of geeking out here. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Hopefully you will have a lot to report back.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping they'll let me do at least some part of it inside the Gamers Dome, so I can have some video. I have a disclaimer: I have no idea what I'm going to see and be allowed to see, and what I can talk about. So it's very possible that I can't, and I completely understand if that happens. But I'm hoping I get something because it's just going to be awesome.
Me too, because you've been talking this thing up. So I want to experience this at some point.
So, we are going to talk some Kickstarters now. It's really been a very Kickstarter-based show here because Hex is on Kickstarter right now. So let's start with a project called Heroes of Video Game Music. It's a 5.1 surround sound DVD. So if you search for Heroes of Video Game Music, these guys need our help, guys. They're looking for £22,000. It is a British company, and they're at 4,700 right now. So we need to make, with 11 days to go. So we really kind of need to make sure that this happens. 20 legendary video game composers are actually uniting for this. I mean, 20 of the best minds in video game music are all coming together to make this happen. And you know one of the guys, don't you?
I do, and I'm trying to get our schedules in sync and have him on the show to talk about it because he's been part of some major titles, and I'm not going to give the name, but he is in the top 5 on the list there, and he has been all around and has major titles under his belt and tons of releases as far as music composure goes, and he is a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
So.
No, the project looks awesome. I have always personally been a guy who loves video game music. I remember back in the day, I used to play Final Fantasy 3, and I paid the money for the 3-disc soundtrack, and I listened to that thing non-freaking stop. I loved it.
Final Fantasy was one of the largest for like having a crazy awesome soundtrack that everyone talked about. They're famous for their composers.
Yeah, no, it was very cool. So this project really intrigues me, and guys, like, just the rewards are very reasonably priced as far as what you get. There's T-shirts. There's you can actually download the music files and MP3s. You can get the DVD. They're hoping to be able to do a Blu-ray as well. I'm just looking over the stuff, and they're really giving pretty good value here on this. And so if you're a fan of the video game music, you definitely want to check out this project here. And they need our help. We need to make this thing happen here. They need a push here. They got 11 days left, so anything you can do to try to make this project happen is going to be very helpful. And I'm just looking over some of this stuff, and like it's really neat. It's really awesome, actually.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and I hope that it goes through for the music lovers out there. It would be something that they've probably wanted for a while, because I know some people put So I know some people who put video game soundtracks in their playlists, so this is something that I'm sure a bunch of my friends would dig.
Yep. So, I have a second Kickstarter. I couldn't really decide which one to use this week, so I figured I create the agenda for the show. Why not do both? Stop the Planet. I want to get off. is the second Kickstarter. It is a zombie RPG survival type game. Open world exploration and survival with base construction. Harvest resources to build unique equipment and player choices. It's kind of a Terraria inspired type game with the RPG survival aspect into it. I looked over the video. I thought it was pretty neat. I really kind of liked it.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to. Well, I guess I shouldn't say comparisons. I'm looking forward to seeing if this thing does happen, how it's going to go, because it does have similarities to some titles out there already, and I want to see what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, they've raised $1,800. They need $24,000, but they've got 24 days to go, so they got a little bit of time here. And really, I mean, $10 for $10, you get a DRM free copy of the game when it's released. For more, you can get into the alpha. You can get, for as little as $45, you can get a design idea around a unique weapon or blueprint. Like, you want a particle beam that instantly vaporizes zombies? Psh, they can do it.
And, of course, a character. You get to be a character.
Yes. There's, like you can be in the game for $100 and you're in the game. Front and left side photos of your face. $75 for $75 if you're a designer out there, you'll get everything above, and you get all the graphics and stuff that you need to actually create your own game, and you're allowed to.
Yep.
So I really like these guys because I feel like they're not out there to make a whole bunch of money. They just want to make the game. It's like you could tell it's definitely a passion for them to try to make this game, and it's not about the money. If it was about the money, they wouldn't have at $75 where you can get all the graphics to do your own. They want to see theirs made. Yeah, I mean, it's really awesome. Some of the encounters out there. So. And really, I mean, this is one of the best bangs for your buck out there. So this one should easily fund, but guys, definitely get into it. Look at the video at least. It just looks fun. It's pre-alpha type footage right now, so there's a lot to still be seen. But I have to admit, I was never really a big Terraria fan, even though I know it's a really good game. But watching this one, I was like, ooh, that just looks fun.
Yeah, it does look fun.
Okay. So we're going to go to what have we been playing this week, because we're gamers and we like to play games. And I am going to let Miss Amber start this week. Miss Amber, what have you been playing?
I've kind of I fell off the wagon, you guys. I was doing really good about staying away from Minecraft for a while, but
What?
I have to admit I backslid.
Where's that mute button?
No. Don't mute me. I'm just being honest.
Okay, I can't punish honesty.
I'm playing Feed the Beast Ultimate mods on Minecraft again. So it's all the different mods that there's like a main list of popular mods that are on the Feed the Beast set, and basically have put them all in one thing and called it Ultimate. So it has really cool mechanics that deal with the computing aspect of it. So you don't have to do all the computing things. You can just build that part. And so you get to do more complex things in the game that previously you had to actually know how to create computers using the redstone switches and everything before. Now you can just build the part and have it work. So it's awesome. because I don't want to learn how to make computers. I just want to play the game.
Yay.
Yes. What about you? What have you been playing?
Well, on Thursday, I went to a retailer convention down in Orange County. And while I was there, I met up with the guys from Alderac Entertainment Group, or AEG as most people know it. They're the guys who make L5R, Legends of the Five Rings, if you're a TCG fan. And they were talking about this one little game called Love Letters. And I'm like, what? It is a game that uses a deck of cards that is 16 cards total. 16 cards. That's the entire game. And I'm like, okay. How awful is a game that takes 16 cards and that's it? So I said fine, and I got a friend. Hi, monster.
That's not my monster. My monster is up here being quiet.
Hi
My
other
neighbors.
monster. No, we is 16 cards total. So I got together with a friend and we tried it, and the game's not good. It's great. It's really, really fun. Now, mind you, there are some luck aspects to it. There was one particular point when the score was tied 5-5, and we were playing best of 7, and I got 83'd out 2 games in a row, which means nothing to anyone except the person who I know is actually listening and probably grinning right now thinking about that. There's 8 different cards. Some of which there's only 1 of, some of which there's 2 of, and 1 of which there's 5 of. And each turn, each player is holding 1 card. You draw a card and you discard a card, and the discard effect on each card does something. And yeah, you can lose first turn, but the game is such that you're... In Love Letters, you're trying to get your letter to the princess. And at the end of the game, if it goes that long, whomever has the person that's closest to the princess in their hand is the person that gets their letter there. And it depends on how many players you have as to how many you need. In a 2-player game, you go to 7, and 3 and 4 are slightly less. And the game is just simply played in rounds. So yeah, you lose a round. You might lose a round in the first turn, but the next time, no big deal. You get to try again. I got my butt kicked a lot, actually. I did win the very last game that I played of it, but I lost like the first 3 in a row. It's definitely a really good game for maybe people who aren't game players, because it's a pretty simple game. After a few games, you start to figure out the strategy, just a few rounds, and you start to figure out what the various cards do and the strategies involved with it. And yeah, there's a lot of luck, but there's a lot of bluffing involved. And I feel like a younger audience could certainly play this game and enjoy it. And certainly even for a more hardcore gamer like myself, is great replay value. I kept wanting to try to quote-unquote improve on it, though the truth is I couldn't come up with anything. I feel like they came up with a really good game here. But, so yeah, it's called Love Letters. It's by AEG. You can search it out. I'll be posting a link up on our website. We have a little list of games that we love, and I'm going to post it over there if you need easy access to finding it.
Do you have this in your hands currently?
I do.
Okay.
Why?
Just wondering.
Oh, yes. Oh, I have this game in my hands.
Okay.
And I'm being teased in the chat that it took me more than a few games. Which is true.
Oh.
So, it's 8 o'clock.
Wow, yeah.
But where has the
been an
time gone?
We ranted and we nerded out, so
We did.
it's easy to lose track of time.
Okay. So, hey, sponsors. Thank you. You guys rock. Every
We
last
appreciate
one of
it.
you. We love you. We love you. We love you. Pat, thank thank you for being such an interactive part on this show. If you're not listening to this live, you really should be, because this is an interactive show. We have people in the chat, and they talk, and we watch the chat, and the show gets affected by what you say. We also look at our Facebook, search out The Gamers Dome. We look at our Twitter, at The Gamers Dome. You can even email me, scott@thegamersdome.com. Heck, I'll check all sorts of stuff. I got my phone in my hand. I'm checking my emails all the time. So feel free to help us shape the show. So for those of you who are listening to it on podcast again, Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Pacific time.
You can come be an attention whore.
Yes, thegamersdome.com.
I made it sound sad. I'm sorry. No, I meant that in a good way. We love attention whores as far as if you're bringing content, we'll gladly give you attention.
If you bring content, we love you. So, Amber, thank you. Pat, Melissa, you guys are all awesome. I really appreciate everything that you guys all do for the show. I can't wait for next week to talk about Hex more.
Yeah, you better have a good report ready for us.
I'm going to. Okay, so until next week, I am Scott.
And I'm Amber.
And everyone, keep playing.